quite sharply. So just if you heard at what Sunil was saying, 4,600 and 4,300 are the kind of puts. 4,300 on the December, 4,800 are the puts that are being played on November. That's December and November for you. So the mood is pessimistic on the option side. Let's find out how the fundamentals are also shaping up. Varun Goel, Assistant Vice President, Fund Management Division at KC Securities, is our first guest this afternoon. Varun, very good afternoon to you. Sub 5,000, are we grinding towards that 4,800 level? I remember asking you the same question you were on last time around.
Good afternoon, Rahul. I think the markets have run up very significantly since the lows of March. Now, if you look at the large cap names, we are trading close to 19 times FY10 earnings and around 15-16 times FY11 earnings. So I think the valuations did appear to be a little stretched, especially on large cap names. Now we've seen the Q2 numbers coming in, so whatever results we have seen so far, we have seen results mostly in line with expectations. There has been nothing extraordinary or something which has surprised market on the positive. And I think the bigger factor for markets in the near term continues to be global cues. We've seen a very sharp rally in almost all global markets in last month or so. I think going forward, we'll have to have a very close watch on what's happening on the global side. Now the data which came out of China today, a very strong set of GDP numbers. And I think while that is positive, that all the data points are surprising on the positive, but the flip side of that is that the stimulus measures which different governments had introduced last year would need to be withdrawn at some point of time. And the stronger the macroeconomic data is, I think earlier that stimulus will need to be withdrawn. So I think one needs to watch those developments very carefully, and the markets might react to global cues in the short term.
I got to ask you one question and repeated the one he asked you previously. I'm going to follow suit. I had asked you on JP Associates the last time round. Now we actually have numbers from the company. Interestingly, a Bloomberg poll of brokers shows that 70% of brokers would use the dips on JP to buy in. Would you agree with that consensus?
I think if one were to take a call on the various sectors that the company is present in, the cement sector clearly looks to have topped out. Going forward from a macroeconomic perspective, the data continues to appear negative. We have price pressure in terms of raw material prices. Coal India is going to introduce the price of coal from next month. Then we have around 60 million tons of new cement capacity coming up in next 1 year. So as far as the cement space is concerned, there is going to be a pressure on the margins as well as the top line numbers of all the cement companies going forward. As far as the construction activity is concerned, I think there was a little bit of surprise on the negative in the numbers, and going forward I think we are feeling quite positive on the construction space. So net the results were a little disappointing, but we'll have to see for the next few quarters as to how the company performs.
Okay, 49.88 is the quote that we're getting on the Nifty right now. 16,793 on the Sensex. Let's take our first break on that note. Varun stays on. Leave it. Varun Goel has been waiting very patiently by as well. Varun, there's been a lot of strength on IT stocks today. The rupee has been depreciating all right. How are you positioned on Infosys, TCS, Wipro from here on?
Well, I think the IT stocks have had a spectacular rally in the last 6 months. I think that was clearly backed by a very big rebound in US financials, which are big clients of all the tier 1 Indian IT companies. Then another positive was that the kind of pricing pressures that people were expecting didn't materialize. Now, having said that, I think from the kind of valuations that we are at this point of time, most of the large cap companies trading around 20 times 1 year forward, our view is that the sector at best could be a market performer. So I'm not really looking at a significant upside from the space at this point of time.
Okay, hold that, Priyank. Varun, do you track any of these companies, L&T, DLF or ICICI Bank? If so, what's the call?
As far as the construction space is concerned, we are very positive on that space from a longer term perspective. And obviously from a shorter term perspective, what we are seeing at this point of time is that the companies are delivering a decent profit growth. However, the top line seems to be muted. However, the order inflow growth seems to be quite commendable. We are looking at around 25-30% kind of order inflows for all the major construction companies going forward. So I would say that any correction should open up entry opportunities in that space.
Any thoughts specifically on metals, SAIL, Tata Steel, Hindalco? There was talk about a possible follow-on public offer that was likely to come into SAIL. It started off at 5%, some pockets even reporting as high as 20%. How are you looking at valuations in metals at this point?
I think the valuations in the metal space have obviously run up very significantly since the beginning of this year. Obviously there has been a clear weakening of dollar, because of which all commodities have risen significantly from the lows that they touched last year. I think we are quite positive on companies which are geared towards domestic demand. The companies in the steel space, companies in the aluminium space, which have a significant gearing to Indian demand, which continues to be quite robust. We've seen a lot of pent-up demand coming in from infrastructure, construction, automobile space for steel companies. So I think domestic steel companies going forward should have a very robust outlook. However, we are very, very cautious on the global demand for precious for industrial metals. We've already seen China announcing a 5% cut in the steel prices from next month. So I think companies with having a significant exposure to global markets might see some pressure, but the domestic companies should continue to do well.
Right about now. Let's take this opportunity to thank Varun as well. He's been with us right since 2:30. Varun, thanks so much for taking time out and joining us as well. We'll be back with lots more on the other side of the countdown. Stay tuned.